Stay at home, stay safe and stay healthy. So I am starting the next topic today. So today's topic is sign convention. So you already studied it in 9th standard. So the same thing only I will say with little bit modification. Alright. Now for lenses sign convention, the first point is that all the distances should be measured starting from the optical center of the lens. I am not writing on the board because you told already that you are facing some problem, that you cannot see the board properly. So that's why I am just telling, just like the real class, I am telling you, dictating you, please you note down point wise. So what is the first point of sign convention? What I said, what is the first point? That all the distances should be measured starting from the optical center of the lens. Clear? Then, second point. Second point same, exactly same as you have applied for the mirror, that and you have applied in 9th standard, that when the distances are measured along the incident ray, distances are considered as positive. I repeat, when distances are measured along the incident ray, distances are considered to be positive. So you understand it? Suppose here is the object and here is the lens. So you see, from the object light is moving from left to right. Is that clear? So if you measure, that's why I have given this arrow. If you measure the distance in this direction, then it will be considered as positive. If you measure the distance in the opposite direction, means opposite to the incident light, it will be considered as negative. Alright, so what is the second point of the sign convention? Distances measured along the incident ray taken as positive, opposite to incident ray taken as negative. Alright, then the third point of the sign convention, exactly same as that of the mirror one, that any distances measured above the principal axis. This is the principal axis. Alright. So any distances you are measuring above the principal axis considered as positive. Any distances measured below the principal axis considered as negative. Alright. That's why I am summarizing. Because I found that some of you, okay, you do not, those who do not want to apply their brain only, they face the problem that you cannot, you become perplexed, confused while using the sign convention. Alright, because but one thing is there, while solving the numericals you need to apply sign convention. Alright, that's why these are the points I am summarizing. For real object, you just see this is the object AB here. So if this is the optical center, then U is equal to CB. Is that clear? So when you are measuring the object distance, then you are starting from the optical center and you are measuring, you are going from C to B. So you see, look at this. In which direction you are going? Opposite to the direction of the incident light. So U is always negative. For real object, U is always negative. At this stage, you don't have to deal the numericals with virtual object. So that's why always you may consider U as negative. Alright. Now, if the image is real, then you have seen, if the image is real, then image is produced for lens. It is for lens. Image is produced opposite to that of the object. Alright. So you see, always you have to go from C in this direction. So for real image, V is positive. Alright. But when the virtual image is produced, I hope you can remember, for convex lens and always for concave lens, image is produced on the same side as that of the object. So what will happen? For virtual image, the image distance V will be negative. For convex lens, focal length is positive and for concave lens focal length is negative. So these are the points. Those who are not able to use the sign convention here, as I have said all the 3 points, kindly you just learn this one so that at least you can solve the numericals. Clear to everybody? I hope so. Is that clear? I repeat, for convex lens focal length is positive and for concave lens focal length is negative. Why for convex lens focal length is positive? Just look at it. That when rays are falling, they are converging here. So this is the focus. Is that clear? So when you are measuring the focal length, then you are moving along the same direction. So focal length is positive for convex lens. And when you are considering the concave lens, I hope you can remember, here is the object, that when the parallel beam of rays are falling on it, then here is the focus, here is the focus. So you see, when you are measuring the distance, you are moving in this direction, and in this direction means opposite to the direction of the incident ray. So for concave lens, focal length is negative. Alright, so everyone should remember all these 3 points, and those who are able to apply the sign convention directly well and good, you can apply that. But please note down the 3 statements of sign convention as I dictated. Alright, then next topic is lens equation. Just like mirror equation, I hope you can remember, mirror equation was what? 1 by V plus 1 by U equal to 1 by F. V was the image distance, U was the object distance, and F was the focal length. So in the same manner, what is the lens equation? Only the difference is that lens equation is 1 by V minus 1 by U equal to 1 by F. Is that clear? So this equation you have to learn and remember. What is that? 1 by V minus 1 by U equal to 1 by F. V stands for image distance, U stands for object distance, and F stands for focal length. Alright. So, and another point you must remember, that lens equation you are supposed to use the sign convention. Next topic is linear magnification. That also you know. Linear magnification we define as, it is the ratio of the image size to object size. Alright. And we have applied it already for mirror also. So, in case of lens also, what is the linear magnification? Be careful that linear magnification we denote it by small m. Alright. So, linear magnification, as I said, it is the ratio of image size which we denote it by I divided by object size, we denote it by O. This is O, not Rasgulla, equal to, you can write it, derive it as image distance by object distance, means V by U. So this is the formula for linear magnification. You have to learn and remember it for solving the numericals. Now you see how we are getting this relation. Image size by object size equal to image distance by object distance. So you just consider the image formation by a convex lens. Everybody knows. At least 7 to 8 times you have drawn the diagram already, I hope so, in your study material notebook. Now you see, if you consider this diagram, look at this triangle ACB and this one A dash CB dash. Alright, so ACB and A dash CB dash, these two angle are vertically opposite angle. This is 90, this is 90. So two angles are equal. Then definitely the third angle will be equal. So what you can say, these two triangles are similar triangle. Alright. So angle ACB and A dash CB dash are the similar triangle. And you know, in similar triangle, corresponding sides bear the same ratio. So here you see, look at it, ACB. If I take AB, then what is the corresponding side in ACB dash? A dash B dash. So what you can write, AB by A dash B dash equal to CB I have taken. So what is the corresponding side of CB? CB dash. So AB by A dash B dash is equal to CB by CB dash. Now what is AB? AB is object size. Now we have to apply the sign convention. Alright. So remember here, you are bound to apply sign convention. Okay. So don't forget it. AB is the object size. We are measuring the distance above the principal axis positive. So you see I have written plus O. Then A dash B dash. A dash B dash is below the principal axis. So it is negative. And image size we denote it by big I. So you see it is minus I. Then CB. CB is what? Object distance. So look at it. When I am measuring CB, I am going opposite to the incident light. So it is minus U. Then CB dash, from C to B dash, you are going along the direction of the incident light. So it is plus V. Alright. So after that what you can do, you can cancel this to negative sign. So you are getting I by O equal to V by U. So here you see I by O equal to V by U. Then next one is image formation by concave lens. Alright. So already this one also you have done. So in this case you see, look this two triangle A, B, C and A dash, B dash, C. If I just draw it separately, then you see it is looking like this. This is A, B, C and this is A dash, B dash, C. So these two are similar triangle. So if these two are similar triangle, then what you can write? A dash, B dash by AB will be CB dash by CB. Okay. So I have written that. Now, if you consider A dash B dash is plus I. Alright, because it is above principal axis. What is AB? Plus O. Then, consider CB dash. B dash is the image distance, CB dash. So, you are going opposite to the incident. So, it is minus V. And CB, it is minus U. So, minus minus will cancel. So, once again, what are you getting? I by O equal to V by U. So, for linear magnification, you can write M is equal to I by O equal to V by U. Clear? So, you must learn the expression of the linear magnification and lens maker formula and you must remember it. Next topic is power of a lens. Alright. So, what is the meaning of power of a lens? Again, I am not writing on the board. I am dictating. You please note down. Please girls, note it down. Alright. What is power of a lens? Ability of a lens to converge or diverge a parallel beam of rays falling on it is known as power of a lens. Alright. I am repeating. What is power of a lens? Ability of the lens to converge or diverge parallel beam of rays falling on it is known as power. Alright. Now let us try to understand it. Consider these two lenses. Alright. For this lens, focus is here. So you see, when parallel beam of rays will fall on it, then they will converge at the focus. Clear? Now you see focus is far away. Now consider this lens whose focus is nearer. So when parallel beam of rays falling on it, then it is converging at this point here. So if you apply the concept of power of lens just now I said, then can you please tell me, then for out of these two, which is having more power? What I said, ability to converge. Alright, so here you see it is converging at a longer distance, whether it is converging at a shorter distance. Clear? So, as it is converging at a shorter distance, so according to the definition of the power of a lens, what conclusion we will make? That this power is more. Alright, and this power is less. Yes or not? I hope it is clear. So you see, what I said, the definition is ability to converge and diverge. But from that definition, it is difficult to measure power. But if we apply the concept here, you see, when the focal length is bigger, power is less. And in this case, when the focal length is smaller, power is more. Alright. So, how we measure power of a lens? Power of a lens is denoted by P. Be careful. P is used for power, mechanical power in the work energy power chapter. But here P stands for power of a lens. So how we measure power of a lens? We measure power of a lens by this formula. Power is equal to 1 upon focal length. So this is the formula we use to measure power. Alright. Now SI unit of power. This is a very important topic. Frequently asked question in board exam. SI unit of power of a lens is diopter. Okay, it is diopter. We denote it by big D. Clear? Alright, you must remember it. So here, when P is measured in diopter, then focal length is measured in meter. Alright, this is the point you have to remember. Because SI unit of power is diopter. So as you are measuring P in diopter, then what should be the unit of F? F should be in meter. Alright. Now, it may happen that you are measuring, sometimes it happens that focal length is given in centimeter. Alright. Focal length is given in centimeter. Then what you can do? You can use this same formula. Means you convert centimeter into meter and then you put it, or you can use this as formula also. When P is in diopter, then it will be 100 by F in centimeter. Just understand it. When F is in centimeter, when it will convert it into meter, then what will happen? It will become, suppose F is 50 centimeter. You will convert it into meter. So it will become 50 by 100. Isn't it? So 50 by 100 means 100 will move up. So either directly you can use this as formula, that when P is in diopter, the formula for measuring the power in diopter, it will be 100 by F in centimeter. But when F in meter, then what it will be? 1 by F in meter. Alright, both the formulae you try to remember and you have to apply it to solve the next topic is simple microscope or magnifying glass. Alright, so from the term you can make out magnifying glass means what? When you are looking through that glass or when you are using the microscope, you can get a magnified, means enlarged, a bigger image of a very small object. Alright, so how we use, what is a simple microscope or magnifying glass? It is nothing but a convex lens. Alright. What is simple microscope or magnifying glass? We just use a convex lens. Alright. Now, convex lens, we know already, this diagram you have drawn, that when the object is kept within the focus and optical center, then the image is magnified. Alright, virtual, erect and magnified image is produced. So we just simply use that this one property of lens to use the lens as a magnifying glass, or you may say it as a simple microscope. Alright, now here I will just tell you few new concepts regarding this simple microscope or convex lens. When we consider a convex lens, then or image is produced, then how you are looking at the image? You are using your eye, isn't it? Now, you can simply do this experiment, that you just extend, you just take one finger, alright, and hold it near your eye and just extend your hand and look at the tip of your finger. Alright, and then you slowly bring that finger towards your eye. Then you will see when the distance becomes less than 25 centimeter, the tip of the finger becomes blurred to your eye. You won't be able to see the tip of the finger clearly anymore. Alright, so that's why this distance 25 centimeter, it is known as least distance of distinct vision. Just you see, simply from the English term you can make it out what is the meaning. And least distance of distinct vision also we denote it by big D. Be careful when we are using big D. In case of simple microscope, we are not using it as the diopter. We denote it least distance of distinct vision. Means that is the minimum distance up to which you can see, you can visualize any object clearly. Alright, and for normal eye, means without any defect, without specs, for normal eye, What is the value of the least distance of distinct vision? 25 centimeter. Alright. So this is the first concept regarding the simple microscope. Then there is a term we associate with the simple microscope that is known as magnifying power. Alright. What is the meaning of the term? Try to understand. You don't have to write the definition. Just understand the meaning. You see, it is magnifying power. Alright, and what is the purpose of the microscope? To see any small object which is difficult to see without any device, and we visualize it in a enlarged manner. Alright, means what? By using this convex lens, you can visualize a very small object as a little bit or quite a big object. Alright, so that's why magnifying power means the ability of the lens to produce a enlarged image. More enlarged image will be produced, more will be considered as the magnifying power. Is that clear? So here you see, magnifying power we denote it by big M. So I am just reminding you, here we have just in the previous lesson only what I said, linear magnification. There was another term. Alright, linear magnification we define it different manner, denote it by small m. Alright, so that's why for magnifying power we have to use big M. You cannot write small m. If you write small m, then it will refer to linear magnification. That's why girls, while using the symbol, you use it properly. Is that clear? For magnifying power, we use big M, and there is a long derivation in higher classes. You will learn that magnifying power, what is the relation for that? It is equal to 1 plus D by F. Alright, here remember, 1 plus D by F, this magnifying power we use when image is formed at D. Alright, image is formed at D, means at least distance of distinct vision. Then magnifying power is equal to 1 plus D by F. Is that clear? What does F represent? F is the focal length of the lens used as a magnifying glass or microscope. Clear to everyone? So you must learn this formula. Sometimes it comes in exam that write an expression for the magnifying power of a simple microscope. Then what is the expression for magnifying power? It is 1 plus D by F. But please don't forget to write this, that M is equal to 1 plus D by F when image is formed at least distance of distinct vision. Because magnifying power of the simple microscope becomes D by F when image is formed at infinity. Is that clear? That's why you must write it down along with the expression for the magnifying power. Alright? Now, from this one, you can get a conceptual problem also. Alright? As I said, that which kind of microscope you will prefer to use? The microscope which is having higher magnifying power, isn't it? Because if the magnifying power is higher, then what will happen? It will be able to produce more enlarged image, okay? And it will be easier for you to visualize the image clearly. Alright, so that's why if you want to increase the magnifying power, then you see, look at this expression. How you can increase M? By decreasing F. Is that clear? So this, you may get this as a conceptual question in the board exam or in any competitive exam, that how to increase the magnifying power of a simple microscope. Then what should be your answer? By taking a lens of smaller focal length. Alright? Or a straight way also you can write by decreasing the focal length of the lens. Alright? I am repeating the question, repeating the answer also. You please note it down in the notebook, that how to increase the magnifying power of a microscope. How to increase? by decreasing the focal length of the convex lens used. Alright, or you may write by using a convex lens of shorter focal length, one can increase the magnifying power of a simple micro. Next is determination of focal length of a convex lens by distant object method. Alright, you just understand it. It is not that much important from the point of view of board exam. So, how you can do this? Distant object, what is the meaning? That distant object means you are allowing parallel beam of rays to fall on the lens. Alright, so it is a very simple experiment. What you can do, you just take a convex lens whose focal length you want to determine, and then you go near the window of your physics lab. Alright, so suppose just consider this hand is the convex lens and here is the window, you have taken it. Then you just choose one object, look through the window and choose a distant object. So you may choose, when you are standing near the physics lab window, then you may choose the walls of the boundary or any tree near the boundary as the distant object. Alright, so after that what you do, just you understand it. This is this hand is the lens. Then you hold your palm, or you may take a white screen also. This hand is the screen. Alright, so you may use your palm also. Then holding the lens at one position, you take the palm of your other hand, or you can take the screen near the lens or away from the lens, until and unless you are getting a distinct image of the far away object chosen. Alright, so what you will observe, suppose as for example I am telling there is one tree near the boundary. Okay, so suppose you are fixing your palm near the convex lens in such a manner that you are getting an image of that tree, distinct image of that tree on your hand. Alright, so you see, if I draw that relevant diagram, what is happening? From the tree, as it is a distant object, parallel beam of rays are coming, falling on the lens, then they are converging on the screen and producing an image here. Alright, so you see, according to our concept of focus, what does this point is representing? Focus. So the distance between the screen and the lens will be the focal length. Means, as I said, that this is the lens, and here is the screen, and you have got a distinct image on the screen. Then holding that lens and the screen at the same position, you measure the distance between these two. That will give you the focal length of the lens. Alright, so this is the way you can measure the focal length of a convex lens by distant object method. Next is determination of focal length of a convex lens by coaxially combining it with a plane mirror. So here you see, I have taken one lens and I have taken another plane mirror to measure the focal length of the lens. Alright, so first you listen to the steps to the method how you can do this. So suppose you have kept one object O here. Alright, then you see what will happen. From the object O, the light will fall on the lens L, then it will suffer refraction, then it will fall on the mirror. Okay, and then ultimately what will happen, you will observe that an image will be produced. Is that clear? So when you are keeping, so first of all you keep the lens and mirror at certain distance, any distance you can take, then keep the object near the lens, then you will observe that image is produced. Image you can see. But here you see, you may not get the image at the same position of the object. Means you see here, when I am drawing, object is here and image is here. Is that clear? Now, what adjustment you have to do? Now you do not touch the lens and the mirror. I am repeating, do not touch the lens and the mirror. So what you will do, you take the object either near to the lens or away from the lens, so that the image and object, they are produced at the same position. Alright, means what? Suppose you are taking the object here, then you are observing that image is not coming to the same line as that of the object. Then you take it little bit away, or you can take little bit towards the lens. Means you continue this trial and error method until and unless you get this. Means object and image, they are produced at the same position. Look at it. Alright, so until and unless you are getting this, you have to shift the object either near to the lens or away from the lens. Alright, now when you will get object and image at the same position, then you stop all kind of adjustment. Alright, and then you can say you measure the distance between the lens and the object, that will give you the focal length. Alright, so steps I am repeating. What you will do? You will keep the lens and the mirror at any distance, but they should be vertical and they should be coaxial. Means the principal axis, it should pass through the mirror perpendicularly. That is the criteria. And then what you will do? First of all, you will keep the object near the lens. Then you shift the object towards the lens or away from that lens, so that object and image, they are produced at the same position. They lie at the same position. When you will obtain this, then you stop all kind of movement and measure the distance between the object and the lens. That will give you the focal length. Alright. So this is the method how you can determine the focal length. Now the question is, what is the physics behind it? Alright. So let us try to find out. So here you see, from the object O, the light rays are falling on the lens. Alright. Then after refraction, they are, after passing through the lens, after refraction through the lens, they should move in such a manner that they should fall on the mirror perpendicularly. Alright. Why perpendicularly? Then only what will happen, the ray will reverse, direction will be reversed, and according to principle of reversibility, they will follow the same path, and the refracted rays and the reflected rays, they will come finally and meet at the same point as that of O. Alright. So what is happening? Object and image are produced at the same position. Clear? So everybody should learn this diagram. And this diagram is very simple to draw. Just take care, this should be 90 degree and this should be parallel to the principal axis. Alright. So here you see, now if you look at the diagram, then you see from the object the rays are coming out and then it is becoming parallel to the principal axis. What is the meaning? Where the object is placed? At the focus. And means what? This point is nothing but, so I am showing it, this point is nothing but focus. You do not draw like this. Alright. For your understanding, I have written F. You don't have to give this arrow and don't have to write F. Only you will draw O and I. Is that clear, girls? So you see the position of the object and image is at the focus. So what is focal length then? The distance between the lens of the object is the focal length. Alright. Now, what are the probable questions from this topic? It is a very important and very favorite topic of the examiners. So, kindly note down the next 3 points, next 3 questions, probable question I am telling. Alright. First is, what is the position of the object and image? What is the first question? What is the position of object and image? What should be your answer? Object and image both are situated at focus. Alright, what should be your answer? Object and image are at focus. Is that clear? Then, next is, what is focal length? Focal length is the distance between the object and the lens. Is that clear? Then, the next question, just look at the diagram. Next question, if the mirror is taken towards the lens or away from the lens, will there be any change in the position of image and object, or will there be any change in the focus? Alright. So understand what is the question. If the mirror is taken away from the lens or brought towards the lens, will there be any change in the position of the image and the focal length? So look at the diagram, first understand the answer, understand the physics, then you will write down the answer. So you see, suppose I am taking, don't draw it, understand it. Suppose I am taking the mirror here. Then you see, will there be any change in the path of the ray? No. What will happen? The ray, instead of retracing the path from here, it will start retracing the path from here. Isn't it? Now, if I take the mirror here, then what will happen? Simply the light will travel little bit more distance and again it will retrace the same path. So what does it mean? What will be the answer? That no, there will be, if the position of the mirror is changed, as mentioned, there will be no change in the position of the image as well as in the position measure of the focal length. Alright, so these are the very important 3 probable questions from this topic. So you must learn the diagram as well as this diagram and as well as all the 3 questions. Next is determination of focal length of a convex lens by coaxially combining with a plane mirror, but here we combine it not vertically, horizontally. So just look at the diagram. This is the mirror, alright, and in this case you see lens, you have to keep it on the mirror itself. So you see it is touching the mirror, alright. Now with the stand and clamp, you have kept the needle just above the lens, alright. So if you just look at, you have to look from this side. If you look from this side, then what you will observe? You will get an image of this object. Alright. So first, the image may not be at the same level of the object. Alright, as we get in the earlier case. Clear? Then what you have to do? You have to shift the object, means the needle, up and down until and unless you get the image at the same level of the object. Alright, until and unless, till you get this condition, you have to adjust the position of the this one needle or the object. Either you take it down or take it up until and unless both the object and image are seen at the same line, horizontal line. Is that clear? So in this case also, what will happen? The ray will fall from the object, the ray will come and fall on the lens, and then it will fall on the mirror. Just look at it. It is falling on the mirror perpendicularly. So what will happen when it will fall on the mirror perpendicularly? It will just retrace the same path, alright, and then it will come and meet at the same point. So image will be formed at the same position. So this diagram also you will practice. Alright. Now in this case, how to measure the focal length? First you measure the distance between the upper surface, just don't draw it, the distance between the object and the upper surface of the lens. So I am just showing it. This is the distance you can measure, let it be G1. Then measure the distance between the object and the mirror, let it be G2. Then what will be the focal length of the lens? It will be D1 plus D2 by 2. Alright, so how it is coming? Just understand it. So you see, let us consider the optical center of the lens be C. Clear? So what is the focal length of the lens? Focal length of the lens, if you consider this point as A, focal length of the lens is CA. Yes or not? Now you see, if you consider this as the focal length and if you consider the thickness of the lens be X, then you see one can write focal length is CA is equal to D1 plus X. Yes or not? Or another way you can write it is CA D2 minus X. Just look at it. This entire distance is D2. So D2 minus X will be the focal length. Alright, so if you add these two equations, then what you are getting? It will become 2f. Then if you add, then x will get cancelled. Here you are getting d1 plus d2. So what is the focal length? d1 plus d2 by 2. Is that clear? So in this one, focal length will be d1 plus d2 by 2. What is d1? Distance of the object from the upper surface of the lens. And what is d2? Distance of the object from the mirror. Alright? Now this last two topic important for board exam. From this topic you learn the diagram. Okay, it diagram may come in the exam, and the final result, that f is equal to d1 plus d2 by 2. If you forget this, there is no problem for the point of view of exam. But if you can understand and realize, then it is well and good. But remember the lens, focal length. Alright. But the second one is very, very important for board exam. And all the three questions, probable questions I said, you must learn and remember that. Alright. So we have come to the end of the refraction through a lens chapter. So I request all of you note down everything, every details as I said in the study material notebook. Alright. Thank you children.